Welcome to another episode of SJ Scrubs, and today I am going to attempt to scrub Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. And I'll start a new game. So for those of you who have seen this before, you know what I'm in for. For those of you who do not know what Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy is, it has a very long and storied history of crushed souls, broken computers, broken psyches, just all around psychological agony. And you play this guy in a cauldron, I guess? Just, we don't question these sorts of things. With a sledgehammer. And the object of the game is to get to the top, somewhere up there. However, the controls for this are the wonkiest controls imaginable. You watching this at home will probably many times watch me make a move and say, I could have done that better. That's a lie. I'm just gonna make that assertion right now. This whole game is an exercise in not losing your mind.
There's no feeling more intense than starting over. If you deleted your homework the day before it was due, as I have, or if you left your wallet at home and you have to go back after spending an hour in the commute. If you won some money at the casino and then put all your winnings on red but it came up black. If you got your best shirt dry cleaned before a wedding and then immediately dropped food on it. If you won an argument with a friend and then later discovered that they just returned to their original view.
Nope.
Starting over is harder than starting up. If you're not ready for that, like if you've already had a bad day, then what you're about to go through might be too much. Feel free to go away and come back. I'll be here.
Now, I appreciate
Thanks for coming with me on this trip. I'll understand if you have to take a break at any point. Just find a safe place to stop and quit the game. Don't worry, I'll save your progress, always, even your mistakes.
So for those
This game is a homage to a free game that came out in 2002, titled Sexy Hiking.
I'm talking back.
The author of that game was Jazuo, a mysterious Czech designer who was known at the time as the father of B games. And B games are rough assemblages of found objects. Designers slap them together very quickly and freely, and they're often too rough and unfriendly to gain much of a following. They're built more for the joy of building them than as polished products. In a certain way, Sexy Hiking is the perfect embodiment of a B game. It's built almost entirely out of found and recycled parts, and it's one of the most unusual and unfriendly games of its time. In it, your task is simply to drag yourself up a mountain with a hammer. And that act of climbing, in the digital world or in real life, has certain essential properties that give the game its flavour. No amount of forward progress is guaranteed. Some cliffs are too sheer or too slippery. And the player is constantly, unremittingly in danger of falling and losing everything. Anyway, when you start Sexy Hiking, you're standing next to this dead tree that blocks the way to the entire rest of the game. It might take you an hour to get over that tree, and a lot of people never got past it. You prod and you poke at it, exploring the limits of your reach and your strength, trying to find a way up and over. And there's a sense of truth in that lack of compromise. Most obstacles in video game worlds are fake. You can be completely confident in your ability to get through them, once you have the correct method, or the correct equipment, or just by spending enough time. In that sense, every pixelated obstacle in Sexy Hiking is real. The obstacles in Sexy Hiking are unyielding, and that makes the game uniquely frustrating. But I'm not sure Jazuo intended to make a frustrating game. The frustration is just essential to the act of climbing, and it's authentic to the process of building a game about climbing. A funny thing happened to me as I was building this mountain. I'd have an idea for a new obstacle, and I'd build it, test it, and it would usually turn out to be unreasonably hard. But I couldn't bring myself to make it easier. It already felt like my inability to get past the new obstacle was my fault, as a player rather than as a builder. Imaginary mountains build themselves from our efforts to climb them. And it's our repeated attempts to reach the summit that turns those mountains into something real. When you're building a video game world, you're building with ideas. And that can be like working with quickset cement. You mold your ideas into a certain shape that can be played with. And in the process of playing with them, they begin to harden and set until they're immutable, like rock. And at that point, you can't change the world. Not without breaking it into pieces and starting fresh with new ideas.
Okay, you done? You're done. Okay, so, I'm not gonna lie when I say that above this little, whatever this thing is pretty much the extent of how far I've gotten in this game. For those of you who know me, I'm a pretty mellow guy. I kind of pride myself on being mellow. And I have a feeling that, well, I like to think that I will remain mellow through this game. I am not one to throw controllers or throw my chair or punch a wall or, you know, etc., etc., etc. But, again, this game in particular prides itself on breaking men's spirits. Oh, no.
Oh.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Okay. Mellow. So, we're gonna see who wins the battle of wills here. No,
Oh, you just lost a lot of progress. That's a deep frustration, a real punch in the gut.
Thanks, Bennett. I appreciate you being there to remind me what that was. Now, I will say, for those of you who have played this game, even perhaps successfully, you know that the trick of this game is not to flail wildly. In that, a lot of times you might lose your position. But at the same time, if you flail wildly,
Oof, sorry about that.
as I was saying, if you flail wildly, you're more likely to smash yourself off the edge of a cliff. All the way back down to the beginning. Now, as someone who has watched a couple of Let's Plays of this himself, I will say that there are definitely, see, even he's complaining, multiple spots in this game where the danger to go back or fall back to literally the very, very, very beginning of this game is a real danger. So, even if you make a ton of progress, it's quite possible for you to lose literally everything that you've done up to that point. So, with that said, I am going to... No. Oh, geez.
Oh, it happened again. Keep on trying. Don't let it get to you.
Coffee, I need you. I need you, Coffee. Come here. Come here. Come to SJ. Or make me come to you. Okay, coffee breakover. Let's do this. Bam. Bam. Nope. Splam. Nope. Okay. Now, every now and again, depending on whether you fell or depending on whether you hit some sort of, imaginary checkpoint in the game, Bennett's voice will come on and give you some, psychological, wow, this is super deep. Basically, it has the effect of people saying, you've got Ebola and you broke both your legs, but, chin up, because you could have broken both of your arms also, so it's not that bad, and you can do it. And, most of the time, sentiments like that just aren't particularly helpful. He's so mellow about the way he says it that it's hard to get mad at him, but at the same time, it's really easy to get... Nope. It's really easy to get mad at him. Okay. No. Yarr.
For years now, people have been predicting that games would soon be made out of prefabricated objects, bought in a store and assembled into a world. And for the most part, that hasn't happened, because the objects in the stores are trash. I don't mean they look bad or that they're badly made, although a lot of them are. I mean they're trash in the way that food becomes trash as soon as you put it in the sink. Things are made to be consumed and used in a certain context, and once the moment is gone, they transform into garbage. In the context of technology, those moments pass by in seconds. Over time, we've poured more and more refuse into this vast digital landfill that we call the internet. It now vastly outnumbers and outweighs the things that are fresh and untainted and unused. When everything around us is cultural trash, trash becomes the new medium, the lingua franca of the digital age. And you can build culture out of trash. But only trash culture. B games, B movies, B music, B philosophy.
Okay. So, as I was saying earlier, the controls on this are just the worst. Imagine
maybe this is what digital culture is. A monstrous mountain of trash, the ash heap of creativity's fountain. A landfill with everything we ever thought of in it. Grand, infinite, and unsorted.
That's essentially what you're working with.
There's 3D models of breakfast, Gen X's fanfic novels, scan magazines, green screen Shia LaBeouf, banned snuff scenes on LiveLeak. Facebook's got lifelike bots with unbranded adverts and candid shots of Kanye and Taylor Swift mashups, car crash epic failed GIFs, Russian dashcam vids, discussions of McRibs, discarded, forgotten, unrecycled, muddled, rotten, untitled. Everything's fresh for about 6 seconds, until some newer thing beckons, and we hit refresh. And there's years of persevering, disappearing into the pile, out of style, out of sight.
No. Okay. So yeah, every now and again, he will give his psychobabble, whatever, speech. No.
This thing that we call failure is not the falling down, but the staying down. Mary Pickford.
Okay, so just to the right of me, if I fall down there, I'm pretty much back at the start. Oh, no. Yep. No. Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Get nasty over, boy. Going down the road feeling bad.
Okay.
I'm going down the road feeling bad. Going down the road feeling bad, and I ain't going to be treated this way. Oh,
Yeah.
Play them blues up, boy.
It's one of the very few things that you generally need when you're feeling down is
Down in
country
the jail
jamboree
on my knees.
yodeling.
I'm down in jail on my knees. Down
At
in
least I
jail
know
on
that
my knees, and I
no
ain't
matter how
going to
far I
be
come,
treated this way.
that coffee.
They feed me on cornbread and cheese. They feed me on cornbread
That's
and
right, you stay over
cheese.
there.
They feed me on cornbread and cheese, and I ain't going to be treated this way. Let's go to town, boys. Hey, buddy.
I like how long the country yodeling is going. You know, it's not enough that it's just like a chorus or something. It's the whole song.
$10 shoe
Let me
fits
back
my
up.
feet. $10 shoe fits my feet, and I ain't going to be treated this way. Going where the weather suits my clothes. I'm going where the weather suits my clothes.
Please, yodeling.
I'm going where the weather
Please,
suits my
yodeling.
clothes, and I ain't going to be
I think
treated
I'm
this
more
way.
annoyed
Oh,
with the yodeling than I am with this game. If I fell back to the start, that would annoy me.
I'm down, boy.
But if I have to listen to this song again, that would annoy me so much more
Hey.
on a primal level. Thank you. Sweet release.
Whoop.
Okay. No, yep. Great. Okay. We got this. We got this. Okay. So yeah. So imagine playing any other game with both of your thumbs broken and your eyes gouged out. And that will give you some semblance of the control scheme on this game. It is so... Oh. It's just the absolute worst possible control scheme. This is all done with the mouse. Now, I am playing this on a laptop, so this is actually a trackpad. I'm not sure if that is better or worse than an actual mouse would do for me, but the good thing is, the really good thing out of all of this is that the yodeling finally stopped. That is literally the best thing. It's kind of one of those you don't know what you have until
You've done this part before.
lose
You know
it.
it's possible. Just do what you did the first time.
Yeah, thanks, Bennett. You don't know what you have until you lose it, but you don't know how much you appreciate no yodeling until the yodeling stops. I'm sure it will return in my nightmares, but... No. Oh, God.
The soul would have no rainbow had the eyes no tears. John Vance Cheney.
Thanks, John Vance Cheney. Okay, you know what? I'm going back to my 9. I need this. I need your copy.
Whoop.
Okay. Don't leave. Oh, I can't even get to it now. Oh. Just so dejected. Well, I'm going to call it there. I will see you next time on SJ Scrubs, where you can see me lose my mind in real time. Like and subscribe if you want to see that. And I will see you... Okay, for real now. I will see you in the next episode.